Hey everyone, welcome to our November monthly QA. We
Welcome.
have fewer questions than usual this time around, so if you have more questions that you want to ask us during our session, feel free to throw those questions at us. That's also why we're here. And we will also, oops, sorry, I can hear myself. And we will also be showcasing two features today. We'll do that at the end. So hopefully we'll do about half an hour of questions and then about 20 minutes of showcasing features for you.
Yep,
Real good?
sounds good.
Great. So welcome everyone again, and I guess we'll dive right into it. It should actually go quite quickly. Let's say fewer questions, and a lot of them will go a lot
Yeah,
quicker than
before we
expected.
start, just one thing.
Yes.
My audio should be at least better than last time. It's one thing we noticed afterwards is my audio was comparatively louder than yours during the last stream, and that should be fixed. If it's not, tell us and we'll continue adjusting.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, let's get going with the questions. And if we take the first one, sorry, boom, boom. This is from Beef Potato, and he's asking, what were your guiding principles with Project Freya? Any sneak peeks or concept art that you can share for future UI changes?
So the guiding principle that we had was when we worked with Gluttonic is to make the interface clearer. Since there's lots of information, especially for new users, when you look at an entity, there's lots of submenus, tabs, and things have weird names. And so one of our focuses with Project Freya, or even the sidebar, which had just a huge amount of links, just to split it up, to make it clearer, just to make it for you easier to find the information. And the campaign switcher was also changed. So this is not only to make it prettier, that's an added bonus, but also to make it clearer for new users and existing users where to find the information. And that's something we want to focus on going forward with Project Freya.
Yeah, for sure. And I think
but we also rely...
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. We let the designers use their expertise in user interface and user experience to guide some of these changes we make to the interface. We're just happy with whatever gets sent our way, basically.
Yeah, and as you guys know, this is something that's sadly been a bit slower than we would like lately, and that's something that has been a bit of a bummer for us. But we do have encouraging news on that front, and it does look like we will probably be able to start making changes in a not too distant future. There's a lot of hypotheticals on what I've just said, but I think we are cautiously optimistic that we're back on track to start making changes and to actually start delivering for you guys on the rest of the UI changes we wanted to make. So, bit of a reveal there for you.
But sadly, no concept art to show as of yet.
That's the downside. For now, we have nothing to show. For now, it's been mostly conversations, but we've gone from a standstill to actually moving, and yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting, but we're not quite there yet. So yeah, that was for that question. Unless you want to add anything, Jay?
Nope, we can go to the next one.
Cool. Next one is from Ornstein, and his question is, was there ever I'll pretend I didn't see that moment when coming across someone's campaign or an entity?
Yeah, so we don't go and look at the database of entities. There's just, firstly, there's too much data in the database to try and have a look. Secondly, it's not in our interest to just randomly go and look at people's creations. That's why we have community events, so that if people are really want to create something cool and share it, or public campaigns, through public campaigns and community events, you can share your creations. So there's never been a moment where, when I'm debugging, when someone has a problem, they invite me to their campaign so I can figure out a bug. I don't go clicking in every entity. I concentrate on what's causing the issue. So there's never been a moment where I was like, that shouldn't be there, and just close my eyes. It'll probably happen eventually. I sometimes go look at public campaigns just to make sure people, like, I don't do a thorough investigation. I'll just click through some public campaigns and see if there's anything which pops out. But there's never been the case. I think my players do this for me because my players have access to all the world building I do in my Kanka campaigns, and I've had a few conversations where they say, "Oh, I saw you working on an NPC yesterday or location. Will I come into today's session?" I'm like, you'll see. So it's more the other way around.
Yeah, I have to say, like, I've done a fair amount of, if you ever contact us by email or Facebook or whatever, I'm usually the one to respond. And I've had a few looks in a bunch of campaigns people have invited me to when I was giving them a hand. But I think, similar to Jay, these aren't really things we notice. Like, I end up going through so many entities a day, it doesn't really stick with me. And you just kind of zero down on what you need to do so you can get back to doing other stuff. So yeah, I think, like, yeah, I would be hard to say perhaps I've seen anything that stayed with me. I've had a few weird questions over time, but I don't think I've ever, like, been struck by an entity personally. So yeah.
Right.
Shall we move on to the next one?
Yep, sounds good.
Let's do it. So we're powering through this. This one's also from Beef Potato, and he's asking, what's the weirdest entity name you came across on Kanka? And essentially, same name as before, right? Like,
yeah,
it's yeah. Similarly to, I pretend I didn't see that. We don't really look enough to memorize these things, and so yeah, I think that one we'll have to skip mostly. Sorry. Then, if we move on, we have again. Beef Potato, who asks, who was the best NPC you ever created or interacted with? And Jay, I'll let you take this one.
Yeah. So my first campaign, my first homebrew campaign, I created this NPC, which was like the leader of the town guard and the players who were working with him. And I based him off loosely off my ex's father, which was a policeman and is a very loving and caring man. And I kind of used some of his personality traits in while creating his character, and also sometimes it's his temperament. And they loved that NPC. They'd constantly go and ask him for advice, go back to him. Even for me, he was just like a quest giver, but then they got so attached. They kept coming back to him, and they loved him so much that when I started my second campaign, which was like maybe 20 years later, in the same world, I had him reappear. Like I said, he took his retirement in this new kingdom where the new campaign was taking place. And my players loved interacting with him again. Sadly, they've kind of forgotten him because we've been playing this second campaign for over 5 years now. But probably next session, I probably introduce him again just to make sure they don't forget their beloved NPC.
I'm sure they won't forget who he is. These are the things that stay with you.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I don't know that I have, as you guys know, I don't actually play that often. I use mine more for sort of world building than D&D gaming. But yeah, maybe one day. You know what? I really should start playing with Jay. Like, he's been trying to get me to play with him for years. I will give in. I have to give in. Anyway, next question. Also from Beef Potato. You've been very prolific this month, Beef Potato. Many RPG communities have some sort of patron one-shot campaigns. Would you consider potentially organizing a one-shot or campaign with members of the community?
So this is something I talked about initially when I set up the Patreon tiers. With the elementals, which is our highest tier, and saying, would you guys be interested? Do you think this is a good idea? And the basic feedback was they'd rather I spend my energy building features than spending X amount of time doing one-shots or having a campaign for a tier of subscription. And those things just don't scale well. Even now, if we had a one-shot, how do we select? Like, I'm I think the idea is cool. I think it could be fun, but I don't know if, firstly, vetting or selecting who gets to play. Do we do that through contests? So contest winners could get to be in a one shot or something. It's just a lot of work and something maybe I could focus on once we have more people on the team taking care of programming and building new features. Then I could maybe come back to this idea, because I think it'd be cool just engaging the community more.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's something Jay and I have. Actually, when we saw the question, I thought it was quite a good idea, just in general. And we do hope that one day we'll be able to sort of implement that sort of community sessions. It would be pretty sweet. As we say, as Jay said, we're not entirely sure how, when, yet.
Yeah, I don't see myself becoming a professional DM.
No,
I love DMing, but that's a lot of work, and yeah, my backlog for Kanka is it's an endless pit of ideas.
No, I know. I add to that list quite regularly, so I know. Don't worry. But I like to be optimistic.
Yeah, and I think it'd be cool. It would be some fun content to build. Fun Easter eggs also to implement in a one shot with references to the almighty Kankapi.
Yeah.
And other
it would be fun.
Fun stuff.
Would be fun.
Yeah.
But moving on to the next question. Also from Beef Potato. Also, I did a terrible job at framing this text. I apologize. Beef Potato. So, if you were held at gunpoint and forced to implement a major calendar feature of your choosing, what would it be? We all know Jay loves calendars.
Can I choose death instead? No, realistically, if it was a gunpoint and I had to build a feature, I wouldn't choose something easy, which I could do in a couple of hours, probably custom colors for reminders in the calendar, rather than the drop down with the list of 10-ish options. So something more beefy, more interesting would probably be recurring events. The way they're built at the moment is just a mess. It's limited in the options, either once per year, once per month, on the same day. There's no real control on how. There's just not enough of options, and just because the way, I don't know how to make it better without sacrificing performance. The calendar, a big calendar, already takes a lot of resources from the servers to calculate everything. And recurring events are one of those where it gets messy really fast.
So there you go. That's the next feature that's coming up to a vote.
No.
We'll see. Actually, it's been a while since anything calendar related was put to a vote.
I think we did 2 months ago calendar nesting, where it imports reminders. And
I'm messing with you, don't worry.
Or was that 3 months? That could have been 3 months ago.
I feel like that
was during the summer. September?
I think it was our September roadmap. I mean, I could check, but I'm pretty sure it was September.
Okay, chat is, they want custom colors for events.
There you go. I did say it would be next thing to vote on.
Okay, moving on.
Once again, Beef Potato. Which feature seems really basic and simple, but is actually a chaotic mess of spaghetti behind the scenes?
Yeah, so there's a few things, but probably the biggest is copying an entity to another campaign, like duplicating it, copying it over, just because the way the database is built and the way pages are generated, that code, you can find it all, because Kanka is all open source. You can find all that code in the entity service on GitHub. It's a mess. There's lots of exceptions and checks. It's just not pretty code. And the same for changing an entity type, where if you have an organization, you transform into a family, or a character, you transform into an item. That code is just, I haven't touched it in a long time, but it's a mess. But it sounds easy. Moving an entity, copying an entity to another campaign, duplicate it, change a few IDs, but no, sadly it is not.
It's sadly, I can't help with that. I would say, copy paste, but yeah. So, I think the next one's quite similar to this question, actually. Well, in a slightly different genre, which is which feature seems really complicated was actually a breeze to implement.
So something we deployed recently was entity templates, which ended up being a lot easier than I originally anticipated. I think I got it done basically in a day of just working on it, well, a day and a half with QA testing and giving feedback. Just because it's based on when you copy an entity and it just pre-fills all the form, and the entity template, just set an entity template and it's basically copying, using the same features as copying an entity. So it was easy to implement. It was a breeze to implement.
Yeah, I remember you basically. It was done very quickly. I was surprised.
Yeah, it was like second. It wasn't even the winner of the community vote.
No.
I think it was second in place, and I thought about it for a couple of days and figured it's not that difficult. I just walked to it.
I guess it's a good way to like good attitude A, and B, I was very, very happy. Just like done, dusted. And yeah, I think we have one or two more questions.
Yep.
Just the one, the most important one. From Ornstein, if you had to fight one horse-sized Kankapi or 50 duck-sized Kankapis, which would you choose? I would choose the ducks. I feel like it would be easier.
I don't know. Kankapi size, is it the clip art, or is it like the god Kankapi in the sky and almighty? Fighting Kankapi in any form sounds terrifying. And I would rather just submit to his will and his wrath.
Well, I guess you could.
But 50 duck-sized clip arts, that doesn't
Seems
sound
manageable, right? Like that's what I had in
But
mind.
a horse-
I figured.
But a horse, because they're all the same size, so it's 50 clip arts or one clip, or 50 clips or paper clips or one paper clip.
Wait, what? You lost me.
Like a horse the size of a paper clip of Kankapi, or 50 ducks the size of a paper clip. So a horse would be easy to defeat.
One horse. No, because the Kankapi would be. Wait.
It's one horse-sized.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Kankapi.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. So I'm not the one getting it wrong here. Okay. Yeah. Good.
No, I'm tired.
The question.
It's late here.
Cool. So your answer is still you would submit.
Yes, I would submit.
Well, good to know. That actually pretty much brings us to the end of our questions. So we are going to have a look quickly, if anything's been asked, and if not, we're going to actually start showing you guys stuff, what we've been working on.
In the chat, Umber King had a feature request, which I believe is already in the backlog, to disable certain relations on the relations map.
Okay.
Like disabling families when siblings are already listed. Well, we've had that request a handful of times now, and trying to figure out how it would be doable. Because with characters who are like in 3 organizations and part of a big family, it gets messy. So we are thinking of how to approach this.
Okay. Anything else?
Yes. No, I don't think there were any more questions.
Well, I guess then we move on to showing you guys new stuff. All right, let me just switch. Switch the view. Boom. Right, I think we're good, Jay. Take it away.
Okay. So with what do I start?
Wow, that's really up for you.
Dashboards?
Let's start with dashboards. Dashboards sounds like the best place to start.
So this month's community vote, people voted for more options for dashboards or custom dashboards. So we've done a few things. I hope, since I'm sharing my screen and John's capturing my screen and streaming it, this works okay. But first up, what we did is added a few widgets. We have a header where we can put a text. So hello Q&A. We'll make it full. Which is just this new, start again. This is just a new entity widget. So if I go back to the dashboard, I now have this text. Because we had people asking how to add text, and you could do it with CSS, custom CSS, add text in front of a block of widgets, and now it's just its own simple dashboard widget. Let me just check, make sure on chat that people can see the screen.
Yeah, I think
No
everything's
one's
fine.
complained yet. Okay. So, now, that was the easy part. Oh, and also, if I go back in dashboard settings, we can also change the name of widgets. So now, custom name, this is a recently modified widget. So let's name this Q&A custom name. Save. Back, and now it's named Q&A custom name. So you can actually give a name to your widgets. And if it's an entity preview, the welcome note, I can also change that name so it will show something else, the text you put instead. This is all for all campaigns. Now, if you get in the chat, yeah. Beef Potato asks, can the text also take less than a full row? Yes. If I go back to edit this, it has the width option, so I can make it, I can add lots of multiple texts, one next to each other, so you have full control as with the other widgets. So now the exciting part. For boosted campaigns, we're introducing having multiple dashboards. So when I'm modifying my standard dashboard, it tells me I'm modifying the default dashboard, and I can create a new dashboard. So let's create a new Q&A dashboard. We'll make it visible for the public role and make it default for the player role. Default means a user in this role going onto the dashboard link will automatically load this new dashboard we're setting up. So you can have one for your admin as default, public, and for each role, you can have a dashboard as their default dashboard. If a player is in several roles, and several of those roles have a default dashboard, it will take one randomly, basically, from the list. So let's create this new dashboard. So it's now telling us, oh, I have some encoding issues, but I can fix that afterwards. I can now add some widgets. So let's do a header, hello world, and add a other widget, goodbye world. Sounds ominous. Add a entity preview for the Sunblade. Add a calendar. Custom calendar name. And let's go and view this new calendar. So it's now displaying this new calendar. It's not showing me anywhere that I'm on a specific calendar. And you can see my texts, which are up here, which don't align nicely because I set it up wrong. And now this button up here, which used to be only visible to campaign admins to set up the dashboard settings, now this acts as a toggle when there are multiple dashboards to the different dashboards. So I have default dashboard, my heroes dashboard, which is another one, and the one I'm currently on, which isn't listed, and I can still go in dashboard settings. So if I go on the heroes dashboard, it will show another dashboard, and a few encoding issues still. What you'll notice is there's not the campaign header widget on custom dashboards. We just figured might as well give you more options. So if I go and add a widget, I now have campaign header. So I can still add it and place it where I want. Let me just change this to 50%. So I can still add it if I want and go and view it, and it will just load wherever I put it. So because some people use custom CSS to hide this widget on their dashboard, so that's just an option with the new dashboards. This option is only available for custom dashboards. So the default dashboard always still has the campaign header at the top. And I think that's it. Let me check the chat.
Yeah, have a look at YouTube. There are a few questions that have come up.
So I have the random entity widget and put a custom name expanding its random. Would it replace the entity name? I believe so. We can do a test, which James asked. So let's do a random entity and Kelaus, I think is the name. Let's go and view. So yes, it's now loaded a location and changed the name is the custom name. Would it be worth enforcing exactly one default dashboard per role? Make default button. I thought about it. It makes the code more complicated, and I'm sure people will want weird setups. So it's just because a user can be in several roles, and then setting a user to a specific dashboard. We didn't want to end up with setting a dashboard to users, because some campaigns with 200 users, it just becomes a mess, and just for performance reasons, it just becomes just too much. Can you delete a dashboard? Oh. Can you delete the dashboard? I think I forgot to build that feature. Let me add that to my notes for tomorrow.
That's why it's still just on the QA. And thank you, B, for asking the hard questions once again.
Yes, that would be... once you have a dashboard, it's forever there. No, I'll add that tomorrow. The original dashboard can't be deleted, no. Just because the way the database is set up and the 40,000 campaigns already existing, it would just make it confusing for the code. Speaking of spaghetti code,
yeah,
figuring out which dashboard has to be loaded for role, that's it was an interesting headache, especially with users being in multiple dashboards. I think that's it for
dashboards.
Oh yeah, and
we hope to have this out to you guys. Sorry, go ahead, Jay.
Sorry, I was just going to say, is edit again the name of the dashboard and who can see it and who can't. And also, while editing your dashboard, you can switch between the dashboards you're editing. But yeah, as you were about to say, we hope to have it out beginning of next week. I originally wanted it out for tomorrow, but I have to add delete dashboards first, so maybe it will be on Tuesday.
Yeah, we'll need a couple of days. It's a good suggestion, actually, so we'll put that in. And so yeah, we'll have that hopefully this week to you guys, and then you can break it and tell us what's wrong with it.
Exactly.
And
can
the other thing,
dashboards also be renamed?
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, Big Potato. Yes. I don't know if there's a delay, but I can go and rename it. So my heroes dashboard, I can go and write a number or edit the dashboard name.
Okay. Great. Shall we keep going?
Yeah, because that's not all we've been working on.
So yeah, the other thing we've been working on, stems from conversations that we had with a lot of our owlbears, and the realization that we want to keep rewarding as much, the core being free is something that is never going to change at Kanka. I find myself saying that quite regularly, and that's definitely part of our philosophy. But we do try and make sure that those of you who do choose to support us are rewarded, even if it's not something that you have to do. And we've noticed that most of you don't really boost more than the one campaign. Like the vast majority of you just boost your ongoing campaign and that's it. We wanted to find a way to reinforce that. And we mentioned a few months ago super boosts. And we felt like super boost was a good way for the average Kanka subscriber to fully utilize their campaign boosts and get a few more nice bonuses out of it. It's not going to be life-changing, but we hope there's some cool stuff that you find interesting there, or intriguing at the very least. And so Jay's going to walk us through some of the stuff we've been working on, well, he's been working on for the last couple months.
Yeah. So the idea of Super Boost is you use free boosts on a single campaign. It's a lot like Discord Nitro, where just you add more of your, I think those are called boosts, to your Discord server to unlock more features. And this is done through the profile boost campaign. Let me remove the super boost from my homebrew campaign. Go back. So when I will go to boost this campaign, damn it, no, I just broke it. Whoops. I just unboosted the campaign and there's a error log on the server.
We should have practiced this beforehand.
Okay, technical difficulty, just give me a few seconds. I will quickly...
No worries. I'll fill the air as we stare at your website.
Oh, I can show it on my local development. Note this will also be bugged. Let me try this.
No worries. In the meantime, if you guys have anything else that you want us to talk about, anything else that interests you, or any final questions about dashboards, feel free to ask. But yeah, otherwise we're quite excited for this Super Boost thing.
Sorry, my computer is dying.
It's okay.
Okay. So, I believe this campaign is super boosted.
Is your belief can be rewarded? It is. Good.
Well, let me, just to make sure. And this will be a bit slower. Yes, this campaign is super boosted. So, super boosted campaigns will unlock a few small things, keeping it easy. First of all, probably the easiest feature to implement, we start with easiest to most exciting, is files. The number of files you can upload is 10 per entity. So you can add your 6 PDFs of your mega dungeon on your location or whatever, or 10 pictures of various angles of a character portrait. You can just upload more entity files. Now it's the easy part. Next up is in the entity logs. Is this a good example? Let me edit this character to showcase. So abilities person. Just change the name, title, debilitator. Let's make it French looking. Let's give them a family. And haha, I am some text from the Q&A. Let me save these changes. What have I broken? Oh no!
Jay.
Get for an...
Right. In the meantime, I'll quickly answer the two questions I've been asked so far. Go for it.
Yeah. I know.
So
I kept changing things.
Take your time, Jay. I'm just going to quickly answer the questions that we have. So Zenek, do we plan on start accepting Brave browser tokens? No. It's not something I'm familiar with as to how to process with it. Weirdly enough, I use Brave as my browser, so I understand what it is and I understand how it works, but I'm not sure how we participate in the program. And admittedly, I haven't looked into it at all. Maybe one day, but no. To make it short. Karalampos, Owlbear will be able to have, they will maintain to be able to have 3 normally boosted campaigns, or they can transform that into 1 super boosted campaign. And Elementals, yes, we are currently, they'll have 3 super boosted plus 1 normal boosted campaign, given that they have 10 boosts. We are perhaps going to tweak some of these numbers here, but you're never going to get less than what change is going to implement. Either you'll get more or you'll get the same. Like there won't be any less for that. So your next question as to will there be a way to purchase more boosts removed from subscription level? Unlikely. We're thinking of introducing something in between that would cater to those who want to super boost more than just the one campaign, but who don't want to go full elemental. That's something we've discussed, Jay and I. So I guess in a way it would be purchasing more boosts, but it won't be removed from subscription level. I don't know. Maybe we're not close to the idea. We just haven't really, we haven't really thought about it that much. First, we wanted to get some kind of feedback on super boosts and what you guys think about it and how we can improve it, and then we would move on to seriously selling them. Anyway, Jay, take it over.
Yep. Okay, so while you're talking that, I changed the name of the entity and the text again. And one of the new features for Superboost is in the entity logs, I can see. Yeah, there's still a few bugs apparently.
Yeah.
But I have full entity logs of what changed. So I can see the name was changed, was previously abilities person. Yes, the entry field was previously, and here's the HTML of that field. And the title, I don't know why it's not taking the correct text, but it shows me the old values. So then you can compare, for example, you delete a whole section of a entity description or the entry field, you can now recover that information going through the entity logs. And this information is kept for a month to avoid completely saturating our servers. And so if you do a wrong manipulation or you delete some content or whatever, you can recover. Or if you rename something, you're not sure what was named previously, you now have this information for up to a month.
Nice.
That's
looking good.
One big change. So in the menu here, there's a new button gallery, and I'm hoping this works better because this was the last thing I worked on. So super boosted campaigns will have a gallery, so I can go and add. Let me look for something which I haven't uploaded yet. Let's do. Sure. Upload this file. I can go and edit its name if I need. So blah 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 Q&A. So I have a gallery. Okay, I can go and image link. So I have the link for where it is, and I can go and embed it in a. If I go back and edit this character.
I'm very excited about this gallery feature, by the way.
I could potentially paste the image link here. However, let's say I want to upload a new picture. Well, now this picture is only available for Summer Note. Since there we actually have a plugin which was available and which worked well since we're deprecating TinyMC, the old editor. So this is only available for the new editor. I can upload an image. So let me select an image, and boom. And where's this image now? It's in my gallery.
This makes me so happy. Like, I can't describe just how happy this makes me.
And that's not all. So it's nice to have a gallery, but wouldn't it be nice to be able to select from the gallery? So I have a new button here called Gallery, where it's also loading my images. The thumbnail is a bit, it's compressed because this is my local server and not the actual server where we have the image resizing system. This will look better in production. So I can go and add. So whoop, I now have my image here. I could also do multiple ads. Boom. So click save.
Yeah, I think useful is a nice way of putting it. Like sorry, I'm replying to comments. I think the gallery is incredibly useful.
So for all those asking where can I upload my pictures, rather than uploading as an entity file on the entity itself, pictures you want to incorporate in the entry field, you can now use the gallery and reuse the same images over multiple places. For upload size, it's the same rules which apply like a normal image field. So it's the same sizes. For me, it's 8 megabytes, for example, and there's no limit on how many images you can upload. There's no limits on how many gigabytes of server storage on the Kanka you can use. At this moment, if we see people uploading gigabytes and gigabytes, we might. But for first, we're just go nuts and have fun.
Enjoy. Break it all. Tell us what's right, what's wrong, and we can improve. And there's something else, isn't there?
I'm just quickly reading the question.
Will
there be a mass upload or one picture at a time? The plugin we're using only allows, as far as I'm aware... can I select multiple images? Oh, well, I can select multiple images, so you can mass upload in the gallery. However, not in the text editor when you're editing an entity.
Yeah, but it's a good question as well from Caroline Pass after.
Will existing entities be in the gallery or will they have to be moved? This is completely separated from existing images because existing images are just saved on Amazon servers and then referenced in the text. And the gallery actually uses a database. And so it's just separated.
Great.
And there's one last feature.
One last thing.
If I go back...
Sorry, I get very excited about these things.
To my campaign, the sub-menu, there's a new element called stats, which needs to be changed to achievements. Let me add that to my list of things to do for tomorrow.
And the delete button, of course.
I have a long list of
stuff
to fix tomorrow morning.
I know.
Achievements for your campaign. So, for example, I've created 20 or 50 characters, so I haven't unlocked level 1 of characters yet, and there's up to 5 levels of each, and I think the maximum is 1,000, so you reach level 6 or level 5 if you have 1,000 characters in your campaign. Same for locations, races, and then there's other smaller ones like calendars, several levels. Calendars will probably tweak down because no one wants to create 300 calendars. Or how many characters you've killed in your campaign, and at the moment we just have these 6 achievements with the various levels, and it's something we're excited about because it's just fun and silly, and we'll add more achievements based on community feedback. What makes sense? Also tweak the levels.
Change the names, change perhaps like titles that you want to get with them. We want to have a bit of fun with this, and we definitely want a lot of your feedback on this and on what you think works, what you don't want to see, what you do want to see. So for this, feedback is key. Anything that we can hear, we're happy to hear.
Yeah. And the idea is here to promote people world building in their campaigns just to reach these small achievements. They don't add... they're just fun, and we want to encourage people to well build and use features. For example, calendars, probably tweak it down to have just 2 levels. Have 1 calendar, have 5 calendars, and that's it. That's the max, because realistically, I think 1 campaign has 8 calendars, and that's the biggest I've seen. And then bigger things like how many characters you've killed. We'll tweak these numbers. I just built a base system, which allows me to then expand upon it and add these fun little achievements.
Yeah. No, it's looking good. This also excites me.
Beef potato, no one wants 300 calendars? Speak for yourself.
Well,
sure.
You can trust the way beef potato. And
Maybe beef potato will be the maximum level for calendars.
The only one on Kanka to have that achievement.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, I think we've pretty much gone around everything, haven't we?
Yeah. There's one thing which we planned for Super Boosts also for a later update is entities. When you edit an entity, you can upload an image, and I'd like a way to select from the gallery, but I just haven't found a good way to create that interface yet, or a plugin which would allow that. But the idea would be, instead of uploading an image, for example, if all your ins, all your locations of type in have the same image, just select an image, so you just have to upload it once and not edit it all the time.
Yeah, that'd be useful. And, hopefully we could get to it. And I just wanted to add one last thing actually quickly about Karen Ampas's question earlier about the one super boost for owlbears. If you have ideas as to how we can, like you have a particular case where you want to super boost several campaigns, please talk to me about your situation, your case, and, like what would work for you, or, what solutions we can work out together, because I think that, as always, the community is a large part of the answer here at Kanka. So if you have any thoughts on how that should work, and you are one of those people who are going to need multiple super boosts without necessarily wanting to go into an elemental status, then please do contact me, and let's just have a chat about it. So yeah. I don't know if, Jay, you want to add anything?
No, that was it. I have more work to do tomorrow morning before releasing the next update, which will include Super Boosts and Dashboards V3.
Yeah. Yeah. As I say, we want you guys to give us as much feedback as possible. Break them, get back to us.
Yeah.
And yeah, otherwise it's been another good session. We're happy to have...
thanks everyone.
Yeah. Happy to have
Thanks for all the questions.
Sorry, I'm moving back to this. Thank you for the questions. Unless there's any parting questions, I think we're going to leave it there.
Yeah.
We had a lot to show you this time around, and I'm quite happy that we did. But I think that's pretty much it. We'll give it another 10 seconds because of the delay. But I think we're good. I think, Jay, they are relieving us of our duties. We are always available on Discord for post-stream chat. And thanks everyone for tuning in.
Yeah. Thanks for the question, guys. Thanks for tuning in. And see you next month.
Yeah. See everyone later. Take care.
Bye-bye.